Right, tell us something that is brand new.
The Forgiven, which is the new film by John Michael McDonough, whose CV includes The Guard, Calvary, War on Everyone, starring your friend Ralph Fiennes and Jessica Chastain.
She's my friend as well.
Is she as well? Okay. Yep. Based on a 2012 novel by Lawrence Osborne, which I haven't read. Have you read Lawrence Osborne's?
I have not.
Okay. So Ralph Fiennes is David, who is a British sort of society doctor with a murky past. He is a highly functioning alcoholic. As he says, I think those two things should cancel each other out. It's rather like a double negative. His wife, Jo, Jessica Chastain, was a children's novelist who appears to have complete disdain for children and therefore is, unsurprised that her career has dried up. They are travelling 400 miles to go to a party. The party in Morocco, which is in a castle-like sort of villa owned by their friends Richard and Dally, played by Matt Smith and Caleb Landry Jones. But whilst driving drunk through the desert and having an argument, they hit and kill a local boy. It's night, and he's been drinking anyway. They hit and kill a local boy, and they then arrive at the party with the body of this boy in their car. He is described as a nobody from a village far away, and they are assured that the death can be dealt with, that the authorities will look kindly on it as long as they seem to be completely contrite. Ralph Fiennes thinks he can do that if it's absolutely necessary. Here's a clip.
The world's still normal.
Get changed, both of you. Get changed. Have a shower. Come down for dinner. Police will be here in an hour. I know the officer in charge. It'll be a formality.
Formality?
How did it happen? You should tell me before we tell the police. Get everything ironed out.
We were bowling along looking for the sign for Asna. And there was a lot of sand blowing across the road. I couldn't see. He just stepped out in front of us like he didn't understand the speed of a car.
The fact is, we hit him, and we killed him.
So she's more traumatized than he is, but she soon comes round to the idea that, okay, this can be made to go away, except, of course, it can't, because nobody is a nobody. The boy has a name, Driss, and a father, Abdallah, played by Ismail Kanata, who arrives at the villa and announces that the Englishman must pay. And he must pay by travelling with him to the remote village in which he lives to bury his son. David says, I'm not going. I mean, it'll be extortion or execution. They could be ISIS for all I know. And yet something happens, either a shift in the way he perceives what's going on, or it's unclear exactly, but he agrees to go. And so the story then bifurcates. He goes on this journey to this village to make amends, to atone for what he's done. She, meanwhile, stays at the party villa where all these ghastly, overprivileged, white toffs all misbehave, including her. She falls into a casual dalliance with a financial analyst. She says, what does a financial analyst actually do other than dress up as Dionysus? Now, the thing about the film is this, that there's a very kind of obviously laid out table of what the main themes are. They're themes of white privilege, they're themes of good and evil, of redemption and retribution. And all these are kind of, pretty clearly foregrounded. The dialogue is full of these ghastly white characters referring to them and these people, when the people that they're talking about are not only within earshot, but literally standing in the same room. So it's very clear how that dynamic is playing out. There's also things like the driving gloves that he has been wearing are covered in blood, and they are placed very pointedly on a chair. So he has blood on his hands, quite literally. The gloves are covered in blood. So that's kind of the level of the symbolism. But although the drama sort of runs the risk of privileging its white characters, they are not the most interesting part of the drama. The most interesting part of the drama is, for example, Abdallah, who is a really intriguing character, who at first, you can't tell whether his expression is to do with grief or anguish or rage or revenge. It's a really sort of complicated series of emotions that are going on. And as the journey in which he takes David to his village plays out, you do start to see a change in David's character. But more importantly, what you spend is time away from the incredibly annoying and, entitled white characters. I think the film it's well made, it's solidly done. I don't think it's brilliant. I think at times, it's oddly low key when you consider the sort of the garishness of the subject matter. And at times it can feel a little bit inert. It does an interesting job of kind of juxtaposing these bright vistas of landscape and costume that are then contrasted with the increasingly dark subject matter. And it has good performances and it's sort of enthusiastically done. I don't think it's telling us anything particularly new, but I think what it does manage to do is to set up what you think is going to be. There's a point at which you think you know the way the story is going, and it doesn't quite. And of course, as with McDonagh's stuff, obviously Ralph Fiennes started Martin McDonagh's In Bruges. And I think both the McDonagh brothers are interested in guilt, retribution, justice, good, evil, morality. And all those things are being played with in this. So I think it's solid. I think it's slightly overlong. And I think that at times it can slightly try the patience of the audience. But it's very well played, solidly done. And its heart is in the right place, particularly as the drama progresses and we move away from the company of some brilliantly unsympathetic characters.
And in that clip, it was obviously
Ralph Fiennes, Jessica Chastain,
and Matt Smith, who's still playing the Duke of Edinburgh in that role. He seems to have moved very effortlessly into that.
I think Matt Smith's great. He's so brilliant in Last Night in Soho. I think he's a really versatile actor. That was a great video, wasn't it?
I couldn't take my eyes off it.
No, neither could they.
Do they know, do you think, that they can keep up to date with all things Kermode and Mayo's take by following us on our socials? Because they're all here below.
Well, they definitely know it now.
That's true.